Welcome to the Filthy Spoon Podcast. I'm John. I'm running this one solo with a good guest. Let's get to the sponsors here. Willow Creek Custom Calls. Now's the time to get one. You got plenty of time to practice if you order one now. So the best way to get a hold of Brad is willowcreekcustomcalls.com or Willow Creek Custom Calls on the Instagram machine. I'm pretty sure if you got a hold of him, he can make you up whatever you want right now. So good mallard calls, snow goose calls, honker calls, the Cali spec, good stuff. So get a hold of Willow Creek Custom Calls. And then elite bow fishing and pig hunting. Old David Rank, hell of a guy, man. He is now offering pig hunts in the coastal range over there by Clear Lake. So get a hold of him, get on a pig if you want to, or we're getting that time of year. Bow fishing. You want to shoot a carp with a bow on Clear Lake? More fun than you might think. I know Robert and I had a blast doing it. We're going to be out there I don't know, here pretty quick. I'd say the next month or so, we're going to be out there doing it and doing podcasts with David. So should be fun. The best way to get a hold of David is at Elite Bow Fishing on Instagram. Longtime sponsor of the show and personal friend of ours. So we love David. Solid dude. So. And then Duck Chugger. We're going to see Duck Chugger tonight at the VHP dinner in Lincoln, California. Check him out on Instagram, YouTube. Hell of a cool guy, veteran, solid guy. We just happened to cross paths with him. Great dude. So check him out on Instagram and YouTube. Duck Chugger. So, and then G&T Truck Repair. You got something broke down in California? They're the people to call, man. Any place, anytime, anywhere. Big trucks, concrete pumps, equipment. It don't matter, man. Rain or shine, they will get out there and take care of you. So the best way to get a hold of them is 530-878-4923 or look them up online at gntruckrepair.com. And last but not least, Pinto Ridge Taxidermy. Old Adam Oliver got another name going in the pot today for a free mounted bird that will be announced at Duck Days 2025 at Kittles in Colusa, California. Super fun. We had 69 entries last year. We hope to beat that hell out of that this year. Cool guy. He did it last year. He's running it back again this year. So best way to get a hold of Adam is 530-867-0896 or Instagram, Pinto Ridge Taxidermy on the Instagram machine. So that's it for the sponsors. It's Saturday morning. I'm doing a podcast a little earlier than normal, but hey, busy day. We got the VHP dinner tonight, so I got to get down there a little bit early and help out. Man, we've been looking forward to this. We've been blabbing about it for a few months on here now, and the day is here. We're going to have a blast down there. A lot of cool stuff. Mr. Denman with Mojo Outdoors hooked us up with some cool stuff. Super cool. I'm going to be making some videos on Instagram tonight about it. It's the silver anniversary of the Mojo Mallard, 25th anniversary. Can't believe it's been 25 years since the Mojo's been out, and even longer than that for the Robo Ducks and the old local things that we all know about. But man, time flies. Anyway, Mr. Denman was generous enough to donate to the VHP the first silver anniversary Mojo that will be available to the public. These all have leg bands on them and they're numbered. So this is the lowest number being released to the public. It's like 00011, right? So the first 10 went to like probably the Duck Commander and the Mojo Museum and Ramsey Russell and probably that Belding guy. And so all these super cool guys are getting the super, below 10. Well, this is number 11 off the assembly line. So pretty cool collector's item for somebody. I'm very curious to see what that thing goes for at the auction tonight. I'm really, really excited about it. And I cannot thank Mojo Outdoors enough for donating this stuff to us because pretty cool. Pretty friggin' cool to have the first one in the country. I guess a good timing of our dinner being this time of year. So super cool. So I'll take some videos of that. They'll be available. Everybody will be able to buy them come like June, July or something like that. They'll be out. And they're going to do some type of drawing, I guess, once a week or something with the numbered leg bands or something. There'll be more to come about that, but pretty cool. This is going to be the lowest one, so pretty cool. I might even put a bid on there. We'll see how high it goes, but pretty cool, I think. So I'll be making some videos and reels of that tonight. Should be a good time. All our buddies will be there. Whole cast of characters, Rotten Gribble, Ivan, of course, Robert will be there. Duck Chugger. Unfortunately, David Wright can't make it. Jason Kosovich is going to be there. I'm trying to think. Curtis is going to be there. Mason, our whole band of buddies is going to be there. So it should be a lot of fun. So we are really looking forward to that tonight. And hopefully we can raise a lot of money for the vets. So the number one fundraiser for the year is this dinner. So it helps lease blinds and, get vets in the field. So super cool deal. I'm happy about it. And while I'm talking about, remember, we got our Filthy Spoon VHP shoot coming September. So mark your calendars. That's a ways away, but it'll sneak up on you. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more info about that and a flyer here coming up, because it is a ways out. But I really hope to see a lot of you guys out there, because it should be a lot of fun. Sporting clays is a blast anyway, and it's going to be for a good cause. So we'll be out there. So super cool. So it's about time for me to call up our guest. We're going to be talking to Sean with Ira's Salsa today. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a big duck hunter guy, and his wife makes salsa. I've heard him on Ramsey's podcast, and he's all over the place talking duck hunting salsa. So seemed like a cool guy. Mailed me some salsa, which is really generous of him. And it's like, we're going to get him on here and talk a little ducks and a little salsa. So let me call Sean up. We'll get him on the horn, and we'll start talking ducks and salsa. Thank you. Hold on a minute, guys. All right. Well, we got our guest today. We got Sean with Ira's Salsa here. Big time duck hunter, salsa connoisseur. I seen him on Ramsey's podcast a few years. I've always kind of followed him and stuff, and I actually bought some back in the day. And he was generous enough to send me out a few things of salsa, and I only got one jar left, Sean. That stuff is good. But how you doing, buddy?
Man, it's a rainy Saturday. You called right about the time that we were trying to get all this set up. I was cleaning my pool, and then it started downpouring. I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna stop that now. So no, it's going good. It's a wonderful day in Texas. The weather changed. It's beginning of March, and I think it's 70 something degrees today. So
that ain't bad.
A
little chilly here, sun shining, but it's probably low 60s here. But we're getting into spring. Can't ready. Turkey season's right around the corner for us. Looking forward to that. But so, how did you
that's
come?
A whole other thing.
What's that?
I said that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Oh, it fails in comparison to waterfowl hunting, but I do play around and be a wannabe turkey hunter this time of year. But it's all about the ducks, really. So I've seen you online, like I say, for a couple of years. You were on Ramsey's podcast a few years back, talking salsa and ducks, and pretty cool. I like that chips and salsa shirt you wear all the time. Chips and salsa 24. That's pretty fucking funny, man.
That shirt actually. So I saw. It's up on the website. We do sell a few of them, but it came off of that Reagan Bush election shirt for, I think it was 84.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny. But yeah, that's one of my favorites. I got a few others, but that one's one of my favorites.
That's pretty funny. So how did it come to be that you got to be a diehard waterfowler before you became a salsa salesman?
Well, it's an interesting trek, and we were talking about it on the pre-show stuff. I didn't grow up hunting. My dad dabbled, but he didn't really do it. And I didn't really start hunting anything until probably high school. I had a really good friend. His dad was a big deer hunter guy, and he kind of made you earn it. It was one of those, well, where'd you shoot it? And he said, in the face. What do you think? Excuse me. And he took me out, and I was in a ladder stand, and it kind of blossomed from there. And then probably fast forward, this is probably 2005, 2006, something like that. And then fast forward, and deer season was a pinnacle. That was part of our life. My daughter likes to do it. And then fast forward to probably 2016, 2017, my wife's best friend, her husband was a big duck hunter, like one of those guys, loose lip, sink ships kind of guy. And I finally talked him into it after like 2 years to finally let me tag along and go hunt. And I had a borrowed shotgun and some waders I picked up from Academy, and we went out, and that was kind of the day the bug bit me, I guess is the best way to put it. You try to describe that sound when the birds come over the trees and you can't see them, right before shooting light.
Oh yeah.
And a group of gadwall worked in, and that was kind of the end of it. That was, my wife said that was the day that she lost our bank account. So I went out. It was an amazing day in my mind and in my memory. But yeah, I think between the six of us, we might have shot like 13 ducks. But I think I was kind of like on cloud nine. I've got a picture of it here somewhere. The very first time I went, we shot a group of gadwalls, some widgeons, some teal, and I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do from now on.
Yeah.
And contrary to belief, you still have a day job. You still got stuff you got to do to support the habit. But through as much as I want to say social media is a burden on society. If it wouldn't have been for social media, I probably wouldn't have gotten as deep into it as I did.
Yeah.
You talk about like the Duckman DVDs, and you see in Phil Robertson and those guys doing it, and then you see the stuff on the Sportsman channel or the Outdoor channel. You kind of start tracking, and Ira's cousin sent me a link to a group called Duck South on Facebook forever ago, it seems like now. So I got to see, some of these guys like Bill Cooksey and Del Bordelon before Bayou Beast got big. And
Yeah.
you got to read about Spencer and Spencer Halford and Brooks Tinsley and the guys at Falco and Sitka and, all of this stuff. And then you got to meet Ramsey and Ramsey's adventures hunting, 300 days a year or whatever it is. That dude's everywhere. He's like
Amazing. Like a
he's
rock
like
star, man. Yeah.
He's like the State Farm guy. If there's ducks, he's just going to magically appear.
Yeah.
No, Ramsey's about as good as they get, at least in my opinion.
Oh yeah, he's good to us.
But through all of that, I got to learn more. I got to see Mississippi and Arkansas and Louisiana and Oklahoma and Kansas, and really got to see what duck hunting was like in other parts of the world. That's how I found out about Stuttgart, because if you don't know about Stuttgart, you're not going to drive an hour and a half off of I-30 to go to Stuttgart, Arkansas.
Yeah.
But, through all of that, there was a contest on the website or whatever. I mean, on the Facebook group for pro staff, like they were going into the leatherbacks gear game, maybe before a lot of people were. And so I did this competition with a group of like 12 other guys. A lot of them are still my friends to this day. But like one of the things was calling ducks in a weird place, and mine was a splash pad in the middle of downtown Lufkin, Texas. So I borrowed my buddy's dog Heidi, and we went out and put decoys out in the splash pad trying to call ducks. It was hilarious. I felt a little stupid at the time. You have the whole face paint and all that other crap on, but anyway, long story short, for whatever reason, I got picked to be one of the people that kept going, and through that website, I got to meet a lot of interesting people. I really dug into that Into the Blind podcast. I mean, not Into the Blind, Into the Line podcast.
Oh, yeah. My favorite.
Rocky,
sure.
that Rocky and them did.
Yep.
And I met some lifelong friends through that. But at the same time, I got to conversate with some of the guests and some of the people, whether it's Spencer with Rolling Thunder or it's Justin at Duck Commander. I got the chance to talk to Jeff Foles, and I got to meet Ryan Warden with the toe tags.
Yeah, he was on this podcast. We did a series on here with him. Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan's a solid guy.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm actually sitting at my desk and I'm looking at a stack of toe tags right now that he sent me that has our logo on them.
Oh, cool.
But through all of that, I got to know some people, and I got to do some really cool things. Like I got invited. There was a very select group of folks in Mississippi that do a teal social every year. I got to meet some of those guys, and some of those guys, I hunt with to this day as much as I can get over there.
Yeah.
And I got to meet some folks that are no longer with us. One of them was a really great friend of Ramsey's. But through that, you start to really understand the culture, understand the mindset. And then it just becomes this bigger itch that you got to scratch, so to speak. Not to mention like Tyrone Bingham's or something, but
yeah,
y'all got any more of them ducks down there? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in all of that, salsa was kind of running in the background as like this other thing, and it was something that Ira had done for years and years and years. It's just like a party snack,
Yeah.
She came up with it in our kitchen she found this recipe, and she was like, I'm just going to try it. And then she just kind of kept messing with it and messing with it and messing with it until it became something that was like the go-to. Like she would make a batch and it basically makes a gallon for anybody that's listening.
Yeah.
And it was like $5.50 to make. And this was, 15 years ago before inflation and everything else.
Yeah.
But it would make like a gallon, and that gallon wouldn't get through a weekend because you just ate it on everything. I mean, by the way, nacho cheese Doritos, not bad
Yeah.
with the salsa. Not
Oh, yeah.
bad. So through that, I started sending samples out to guys that were in the duck south space or that were on social media, whatever. And, hey, you don't know me. I don't know you. I'm sending you this just to see if you can get an opinion on what you think. Is it a viable product? Is it not? Whatever. If you don't like it, cool, throw it away. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And through that, we met some really awesome people. Spence being one of them, the guys at Banded being another, the guys at Shin Gear being another, and then some of the guys at Sitka. And, hey, they're like, hey, it's pretty good. We like it. How can we get some more? So at the same time, we were going to the farmer's market and doing this. Well, hang on, let me rewind a little bit. So what really got Salsa going was a bake sale that my daughter's softball team was doing to go to a tournament in Louisiana. And like the mom's kind of conned Ira into making some, and she made like 30 jars or something. And we were like, this isn't going to sell. It's fine. We'll eat it or we'll get rid of it. Well, long story short, in like a month, between us and all the parents on the team selling it, we had sold like 1,600 jars
Wow.
in a month.
Wow.
And it was like, okay. So,
Man, we're onto something
got,
there.
maybe. So we got enough money to support the team. And we went and did our tournament. We're like, okay, we're done. And people were going, no, you're not. And they kept asking for it. And long story short, we ended up at the farmers market every Saturday selling about 300 jars before lunch. So that became the norm. Somebody in the community had called the health department on us because I guess the cottage food laws had changed, and the county was like, hey, we got to shut you guys down. We like what you're doing. You just got to change the way you're doing it. And I was like, okay. Well, so we started down that legitimate path. And all of this will build back into duck hunting. So just bear with me.
Oh, yeah.
So we go and we find a co-packer. And I had looked all over the country. I was like, I'll drive wherever. I don't care. Well, funny enough, there was a co-packer about 45 minutes up the road in Rusk, Texas that did stuff for Julio's and some other brands. And they were like, yeah, come in. It's $500. We'll see if we can build something. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, sorry about the luck. We go in, we make it. And the guy like prefaced the conversation with, everybody comes in, says their nannies or their uncles or their daddies, this or that is amazing. Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
We're like, well, that's, a level of confidence right there, right? Your stuff's going to suck. I'm just going to pre-warn you. Don't get your feelings hurt. Well, so we got done with the first R&D session, and he goes, well, that's better than average. We're like, okay, well, it's still wrong. I think it took us three different iterations to get it right. But once we got it right, he was like, I think you guys got something too. So I was like, okay, I got all these people I don't know that are saying, hey, this maybe is something. So we get the first run made. In the first run, our minimum to order is like 55 gallons, which comes out to like 60 cases, give or take.
Yeah.
And so we get it made and we go to taste it, and they had put too much citric acid in it. And our recipe didn't call for citric acid. So we're like, shit, okay. So we taste it and we're like, this isn't right. We talked to the co-packer. They're an amazing partner to this day. They treat us really well. And they're like, okay, here's what we'll do. We can do one of two ways. We can just take it back and then make it right. He's like, or pay us cost to manufacture it for the ingredients, the glass, the labor. Fine. And then you can try and sell it. We're like, okay, cool. So we say the hell with it. We're going to try it. And we're like, it's not right. It's close, but it's not right. So we're going to call this stuff almost Ira Salsa. And we put a black dot sticker on it because it was like you could go down to like Walmart and get a roll of those, black circle stickers like you get to like a garage sale or whatever. And we're like, we'll just label every single one of them with a freaking black dot. Just for clarity, 55 cases is 660 jars of salsa. And that's how long it takes that's about how many times you have to put a black sticker on something. So we're like, okay, so we were like, well, let's just sell it. We'll sell it for just a little bit over cost. So just cover labor, time, whatever. So we were doing like whole cases for $25. Sorry, folks, if you try and buy a full case for $25, that's going to get you like 3 jars. That just tells you how bad inflation is.
Oh yeah.
So we ended up selling all of it in like 4 weeks or something, really quick. Now, mind you, all of this is happening in the onset of COVID.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So I feel like, I felt like a drug dealer pulling up in a parking lot at a gas station and somebody walking up like, "You got the stuff, bro?" Yeah. Yeah, we got it. We got it. So we got rid of all of that. Co-packer was kind enough to make us another run at a discounted price because the first one got screwed up, which was great. So we got the first run, and this is March of 2020.
Yeah, right.
Everybody knows what happened.
Yep.
Right, and everything. And at that point, I actually had worked in healthcare. I worked at a hospital, so everybody's freaking out, and COVID was bad. I'm not trying to discount it at all. It was really bad. But in the midst of all of that, bad stuff, a lot of good things came out of it, at least for us. We're in a little community that's pretty close connected. And one of my friends is a manager at one of the grocery stores for Brookshire Brothers, which is a local chain, or it's a regional chain, I should say now.
Yeah.
And he would post like on Facebook, like, "Hey, we have toilet paper. Hey, we have this. Hey, we have that." Everybody remembers the toilet paper shortage of 2020.
Oh yeah.
So, through that, the community kind of came together and wanted to feed all the employees at the local grocery stores just for doing what they were doing, trying to keep everybody in stock of stuff, all those things. Luckily enough for us, it was fajitas. So we went down and dropped a case of salsa off at the store and said, "Hey, we don't have a ton of money, but here's some salsa for your fajitas and stuff. We hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for all your hard work," whatever. Well, in the midst of all of that, I guess the store manager really loved it and called us back, a couple weeks later and said, "Hey, can you put a display together and put it in the store? I'm gonna put it in this one store and kind of go against some of the rules." So we're like, "Yeah, that would be fantastic." At the same time, a friend at our church, her dad owned a feed store in Joaquin, and was like, "Yeah, we'll sell some. We'll see what happens." And I was telling you on the pre-show, one of the things that really stood out was when we posted on Facebook that we had gone into that store in Joaquin, people were driving 30 and 40 miles to get it.
That's cool, man.
And it felt like at first that people were just doing it to support us. And then it was people driving in that their friends had told them about it and their friends had told them about, this big word of mouth thing.
Yeah.
Well, that had happened. And then we went right into Brookshire Brothers, and we had a decent little Facebook following at that point. And in the midst of that, we had posted on Facebook, "Hey, we're going into this Brookshire Brothers at Gaslight Plaza in Lufkin." And we put a display up with like 7 cases in it. And then within an hour, those 7 cases had sold out. So they're like, "We need more." So we went back and we filled the display back up, and then they had sold another 7 cases by lunch. And then we filled it up again, and they had sold it. By the end of the day, they had sold 21 cases of salsa in that one store in one day. So it was
awesome, man.
Wow, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward, Brookshire Brothers, we're in all 122 of their major store locations across Texas and Louisiana. So that just kind of tells you, like, it was like 1 store and then 5 stores and then 10 stores and then 20 stores. And it was like, here's the whole enchilada.
Man, that is cool.
Which is really awesome. So in all of that, I'd reached out to Spencer Halford. He had put his cell phone number on Facebook, and I had worked through the Duck South stuff with Rocky and Patrick and all of those guys. And then Salsa was kind of running, was burning slowly in the background at home.
Yeah.
And through that, I made some connections with a grocery store in Mississippi called Corner Market. They're based out of Hattiesburg. And the guy was like, "Yeah, I'll try some." So I shipped him a sample box. And the sample box at that point was like the regular and the hot.
Yeah.
Medium was there. We had done R&D on medium, but it just cost a lot of money to bring a product to market, especially in the grocery space. It was like, well, we'll get there at some point. So we got into the Corner Market store, and it sold like gangbusters. All the Duck South guys were like, "We're going to go get some of this salsa to support this guy." Well, that just kind of kept snowballing. And then all of a sudden we're in 21 of their stores. throughout
Wow.
Mississippi. And the downfall of this story is I can't tell you. If I told it to you in chronological order, we'd be here all day. There's a lot of things that are like happening. They say God works in mysterious ways, right?
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of things happening like at the same time. Like I had Ramsey and I had become really good friends. Ramsey carried some salsa in his truck. He does that 2-week roundabout or 2-month roundabout where he drives across the United
Yeah.
States and hunts
Yep.
everywhere. Well, I had given him some cases of salsa when I saw him in Mississippi. And he was like, I'll carry it with me. I'll give them out. So then he started posting on his Instagram and his Facebook of people trying salsa at these various lodges. I think he even took it to Alaska. And I was like, okay, well, this is pretty cool. This is all happening. None of it's expected. It's still mind blowing to this day that, people are just willing to do stuff like that for you, because if you look at the world, people don't help each other and all that kind of good stuff, which
I agree,
anybody ever
man.
wants, anybody ever wants to call and talk, ask questions every year and themselves, like Jeff Jones and those folks became friends. They were kind enough they had kind of heard the story about I'm involved. There's technical difficulties.
Boy, I'll tell you, yeah, it just went dead on us for a minute. Quit recording. What the heck? I hope we're back live now. We'll have to see what the heck happened there. But gosh, this thing never messes up like that. Guess tech don't like you very much, huh?
And the sad part is I work in technology for a living, so that's pretty hilarious. I know I've kind of rambled on here for like the last half hour. Do we want to touch on anything else? Do you have any questions? You kind of been quiet there.
I prefer to let my guests talk. No, I think it's great. I think the way you found, something that your wife was obviously good at, making this salsa just for, family functions and such. And then it's turned into like how it's helped your duck hunting, I think is freaking amazing, I mean,
it's kind of this unique happenstance of things that have just kind of culminated into this one thing. I mean, it's still funny. It's still funny to me. I still don't understand it, but at this point in my life, it's God put us on a path, and I'm just enjoying the ride of seeing how it unfolds.
yeah.
So, so I guess that's the best way to put it. But anything that we can do to, we're not this normal outdoor company, and I don't even necessarily know that you could quantify us as an outdoor company, but we kind of bridge the gap, I would think, between like some of the mainstream stuff and some of the outdoor like specific stuff.
Yeah.
So like if you watch our social media, we'll post about salsa, we'll post about what's going on, we'll post about hunting, we'll post about football. Kind of it's salsa is like an extension of our life, and it's given us some unique opportunities to do something out of the norm. Like, funny enough, we were in Nashville back last month, and I had to go and I had to explain to the school why Emma was out of school for a week, because they were like, she missed so many days or whatever. And I was like, well, did you see what she's doing? She's building soft skills and doing economics and all of these things that she would have been watching movies at school. So it's like, how do you talk through that? How do you explain, I'm trying to not only teach my daughter something, but at the same time, give her a life experience that somebody else may not have,
Yeah, I would think she probably met a lot cooler people and learned a whole lot more in a week at an event like that than the normal day to day in school. Obviously education's important, but you can get a whole lot of, education doing something like that too,
Oh yeah, 100%. One of the biggest things that I'm most proud of when it comes to Emma in this whole experiment that has been Ira Salsa is that Emma is a confident individual that can speak to an adult. Don't get me wrong, she watches her phone and does the TikToks and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, she can have an articulated conversation with an adult, look them in the eye, be respectful, and have a level of confidence that I don't think I had or Ira had at that age.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, I dared her a couple of years ago. Chris Jansen was singing at the Opry, and they do that conservation aid concert at the Grand Ole Opry. And I told Emma, I was like, I bet you won't go up there and try and get a picture with Chris Jansen on the stage while he's singing. And sure enough, I had about 14 in my text messages by the time she got back.
That's cool, man.
But if it's anything, if I can do anything with this, it's I teach her a love and appreciation for the outdoors, and at the same time, I can make her a fully functioning adult that is not afraid to be independent.
Yeah. Yeah. Being able to be comfortable in a situation like that. Like I said, I've seen her, interviewing people there at the Delta show or the turkey show. And it's like, those are skills that will go a long way in life, And
Yeah, she's either going to run the world or she's going to run a prison gang. I ain't figured it out yet.
Oh, man. Well, that is cool, man. Well,
But yeah, I mean, but I think duck hunting is family, and duck hunting is at the center of what we started. It may not be at the center of what a family definitely is, but duck hunting may not, because we've kind of branched into all these other sections. But biggest piece of advice I could give to anybody is you don't know if you don't try, and you never know if you're not going to go out and do something.
that's so true. I agree. Even with this silly little podcast we're doing, it's grown leaps and bounds. And it's like, well, if you don't try it, you never know. And
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
be
and you can't
scared.
kill ducks from the couch. You can't kill ducks from the couch.
That's it. I preach that weekly on here. You go. I go when I can,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yep.
I hear so much out here. Oh, I don't even. It ain't gonna be worth the crap tomorrow. There's no weather, whatever. And it's like, well, I'm going. So, and you never know. So,
Well, so it's funny. My wife, Ira, was so frustrated with how much I duck hunted. A couple of years ago, I didn't shoot any deer, and she was, and we try not to buy a ton of meat from the grocery store. We usually buy a cow from the sale, buy pigs, shoot ducks, shoot deer, whatever. And we instituted a new rule, but I didn't shoot any deer one year, and she said, "Yeah, I don't know how you didn't shoot any deer from the duck blind." And I was like, well, Phil Robertson did it, but I'm not Phil Robertson. That's for dang sure. So she instituted a rule, and that's you can duck hunt as much as you want, but there better be 2 deer in the freezer before you do. So Emma and I have a mission now, and that's to shoot 2 deer opening weekends, because opening weekend of deer season for rifle is the same weekend as opening for ducks.
really?
So we try to knock the deer out. We try to knock the deer out so we can go straight to duck hunting.
That's smart. Yeah, because you got to fill that freezer. But the
Yeah.
good thing about Texas is you're pretty high odds of getting deer out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a small little spot that we bought, I don't know, 2010. Ira got this wild hare one day, and she said, "Hey, I want to let you know I bought 40 acres." And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know why, but I bought 40 acres today." And I said, "Okay." So we have 40 acres on the other side of town, and back then land was a car note, $400 or $500 a month, whatever.
Yeah.
So we bought this property, and that's where Emma and I do a majority of our deer hunting. It's close enough that I can, in the truck, 10 minutes we're there. We can go and sit, and it's a lot of past traffic, but it's a good little place. So we go down there and we shoot deer down there. But we're fortunate enough that it's a plentiful enough herd that we can pull 2 or 3 a year, and that feeds us for a good little bit, and we get to do it year after year, which is fantastic. Oddly enough, we've never turkey hunted before. Her and I haven't, my wife hasn't, Emma hasn't, and this year we're gonna not only get into turkey hunting, but we're gonna travel and do it too. So we're gonna try and attempt to go shoot a Rio down in South Texas, and then we're gonna drive up to Tennessee for the opener in Tennessee and see if we can't shoot one in Tennessee.
Wow, that's cool, man. You guys are living your best life. I wish you luck on that. That sounds cool.
Look, I learned a couple of years ago, and I don't want it to sound like preaching or anything like that, but it was like at some point I can say that I'm going to do it and say that I'm going to do it, or I can just go do it.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, whatever happens, happens. But I feel like that constitutes living. It's not this. I don't want to be that guy at 60 or 65 saying, I really wish I should have gone and done that. I just want to go do it.
Yes.
And that was probably the biggest and most positive thing I ever did with my life, was saying, screw it, we're going to start a salsa company, or screw it, I'm going to get in the truck and drive to Mississippi and hunt with a guy I've never met in person.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in the car and drive 12 hours with 100 cases of salsa and see if I can sell it to a bunch of people at a turkey hunting show. And it's been a huge blessing just in general with life. I mean, it has its ups and downs, but I think that overall, if it's done anything, it's made our family dynamic that much stronger.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it, and who would think just by, salsa, but yeah, that is so cool, man.
But yeah, I mean, I could sit and talk for hours about this, but it's one of those, A, people are probably going to get tired of hearing my voice. And number two, at some point you've got to edit this thing and get it ready for prime time.
Well, I got our big veterans hunt dinner tonight here, so I got to be heading about an hour south of where I live. It's our one dinner of the year. California Waterfowl out here has a really good veterans hunt program. If you're a veteran and you want to hunt, you call them up. You don't have to have a gun, nothing. You show up, they'll take a guy hunting. So really cool program. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I got a few friends that do that. That's like the Gold Star family hunts.
That's how those are cool.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, Jeff Stanfield, runs one out of Stanfield Hunting Outfitters in Knox City, Texas.
He was on this show.
Yeah, Jeff, they do one, and we've been fortunate enough that he's allowed us to donate salsa every year for the kids and their families to eat. So if there's anything that we can do, don't hesitate to reach out. It's funny, you can have a conversation over beer. You never thought you could have a conversation over chips and salsa. So if the opportunity presents itself, don't hesitate to reach out.
Well, I might knock your door come September. We're having a sporting clays shoot, and all proceeds are going to the Veterans Hunt Program. And I might hit you up because we're doing a little lunch afterwards. So I might hit you up come September.
Yeah. Holler. We'll get you fixed up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Funny enough, Emma's shooting competitions now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's actually shooting next week for the county 4-H program.
Oh, that's cool. That's really neat. We have some programs like that. Even out here in California, believe it or not, we have some trap teams at some of the high schools,
Look, California is a pretty solid state with the exception of some of the larger cities, I think.
That's everywhere, right?
And it's not the people, it's the politics.
Yep.
And we won't go down that rabbit hole, but
I mean, the idiots that live in the cities, they make it kind of tough on us north of Sacramento here. But
I mean, we see the same things in Houston and Dallas and in Fort Worth,
Austin.
I mean, it's Well, Austin's this enigma. That's why their motto is "Keep it weird."
Yeah.
but all right. So I know we kind of covered duck hunting, turkey hunting, deer hunting, and salsa. If anybody wants to get salsa, hit up any of our retailers. It's on our website, irasalsa.com. That's IRASSALSA.com. You can search up Ira's Salsa on Amazon or the TikTok shop. If anybody follows TikTok, I'm sure there's a bunch of them that do.
Oh, yeah.
Look up Salsa Jefe, SALSA JEFE. That's my name. Well, it's the salsa boss.
Yeah.
Salsa boss.
That's cool.
But we're doing free shipping right now on TikTok shop actually. So get in, get your orders, and we love to send people salsa.
Yeah. Like I say, I already ate the hot and the mild, or the medium. I'm still working on the mild, but yeah, I had about a half a bag of friggin' chips with it, and then the old lady made some tacos the other night, and I put that hot right on the tacos, and man, it was good stuff.
Oh, the hot's fire. We have one more that we haven't put on the market yet called extra hot. Maybe at some point we will. I'll tell you this though, take that regular, mix it with a little bit of Hidden Valley sour cream ranch dip. It's pretty good.
I'll have to check that out, man.
Yeah.
Well, I always like to wrap these shows up with 3 questions, kind of get to know you, simple stuff, but 3 questions. So the first one, what do you prefer? Do you like the hot or the mild when it comes to your salsa?
The hot. I drink it out of the jar. It's my go-to.
That's good. I'm that way too, man, for friggin' white boy raised, on very bland food. I love spicy food once I got it grown and, exposed to it. But
Yeah,
yeah, we didn't
yeah,
grow
I'm
up
with
with
you.
anything spicy in my house. It was, kind of English type food almost, not a whole lot of flavor. But
Oh yeah, no, my spice cabinet looks like it got ran over by like 20 different spice companies. There's crap, all kinds of crap in there.
So when you're hunting, what is your go-to shotgun?
So I'm carrying probably a 15-year-old Benelli M2
Good
in 12
gun,
gauge.
good gun, and good gauge. I'm not on this whole sub gauge bandwagon. I don't think there's anything wrong with them, but I'm going to stick with my tried and true 12. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm not thinking it gives me any advantage or anything. I just don't. I don't know. They.
Well, okay, so I'll add this. And this isn't a plug for anybody, but I shot a lot of different rounds, and my go-to is a Boss Legacy number 4,
That's what I shoot.
3-inch number 4.
I like the 2 3/4 so I can shoot it in some of my old guns when I want to be nostalgic. But yeah,
I have some. I have some. Like I have an old A5 Belgian made A5.
yep,
I
I got
have
a couple of them.
a bunch of 1100s because that was what I grew up on. I was a Remington man until I got my first Benelli,
Yep,
and then I have a Beretta 3901, and I'll carry it. That's my backup gun.
that's good. Those are all fine guns. Yeah, it's fun. Them. I got a old Model 12 too. I'll bust out once in a while when I want to wear my wax cotton coat and bring out my corncob pipe and pretend it's 1951. And yeah,
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. But so, what kind of pickup truck do you drive?
Okay, so this one's probably going to surprise a lot of people, but so in a former life, I was an ASC Master Certified Technician with Toyota.
Okay,
So I drive currently a 2015 Toyota Tundra Crew Max four-wheel drive. Before that, I had a 98 Toyota Tacoma SR5 four-wheel drive 5-speed.
or Toyota guy. They're good trucks. I the Tacomas they're really really popular out here, but they're too dang small, man. For me, I don't fit in them Tacomas very well. The
Well,
Tundra's got a little more room.
I'm the same way. Sadly enough, I will probably transition to like a Ford F-250 because I'm looking at a 3/4 ton, and Toyota doesn't have a 3/4 ton in the States.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I would buy a Toyota.
they are good trucks. They are. That won't get my womp womp button because I know they're good trucks. It's hard. I was just hoping you were going to say Dodge. Dodge is the only one I friggin' hate with a friggin' passion. I hate Dodges, but
Nah, that man. Honestly, that there was a point in time with the 6.0 Cummins when they had the motor like lined out and it was solid before DEF and all that other bullshit, but they couldn't build a truck around it. The truck would fall apart.
yep, a shipping crate for a Cummins engine, so they say. Yeah,
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 that would probably be the only Dodge that I would probably buy. I mean, I know one that's driving right now. It's got 850,000 miles on it and it's still rocking.
yeah. Dash broken out, everything else, but yeah, it's
Yeah, it's like the dash is like I think we put like 3 dashes in that truck.
yeah. No, those old 5.9s were good motors, and even the first 6.7s weren't bad. I think that I've heard the new ones are having all kinds of problems with cam bearing and main bearing.
Dude, everybody's having issues. GMC is having transmission
Oh yeah.
issues and bearing issues, and yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm a Toyota guy through and through. As much as I hate to say, I could possibly end up buying a Ford.
Well, thank you very much, Sean, for coming on, and everybody check out Irish Salsa and give him a follow on the Instagram machine too. Because what are you, just Irish Salsa on Instagram, right?
Yeah. The only one that I don't have, oddly enough, is TikTok. Ira actually has it. So if you follow Ira's Salsa on TikTok, you're following Ira. If you're following the Salsa Hefe, you're following me, which is most of the salsa content.
Okay, well, everybody, it's kind of funny. I never had an Instagram until actually Into the Line podcast when it came out, and I heard Ramsey talking about Instagram all the time. Is why I got an Instagram. And the people that I've met through it, duck hunting wise, it's a great tool for duck hunters to communicate. I just love it. I talk to people all over the place on this damn Instagram machine.
Oh yeah. Here's the downfall to social media is you lose that handshake conversation because I think nothing solidifies a relationship like a face-to-face conversation and a handshake. But at the same time, it's been a great expansion tool for us. And it's a great way to meet and talk to people. And there's still, an inkling of privacy or an inkling of protection, I guess would be the best way to do it, until you go to one of these big shows and you see all the people. Like, I met Dylan, the mustard man, on TikTok, Turkey this year. He was there,
Oh,
and
really?
a few others. Yeah. So it's, I don't know. There's still the phone call or the handshake kind of conversation, I think is my personal favorite. So that's why my cell phone number is everywhere. But at the same time, I've met some really amazing people and been really good friends with them for years over Instagram, and then finally meet them in person, 2 or 3 years later. And it's like you've been friends forever. So
That's the thing. Yeah, it's a good way to bridge the, to talk to somebody I'd never, have the opportunity to, and then yeah, you meet in person, and before you know it, I mean, I've met guys like this that are my hunting buddies now on here.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Are
So
you guys gonna make it to Oklahoma City for Delta?
I sure want to. I don't know if it's worth us putting a booth and everything, but I do want to at least go out there.
Well, and we can cut the show, and then I can give you all the info that I have. But Delta is a really awesome show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's huge. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It
and
is.
it's probably half the size of Turkey, so like 45,000 people. But the booths are moderately priced. Like, I mean, it's a good show to get your feet wet in if you want to take that route.
Yeah, we've stuck pretty local out here. We're kind of locally based, but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, we got to get out there. And
Well, like a 10 by 10 booth is like $650.
yeah, yeah,
It, and you're gonna be with all the big dogs. And if you did like a podcast segment at the show,
oh yeah, that's what we
that
do.
would
We
be
go to
even
the
better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ramsey
Anyway,
kind of does the same thing. He'll sit there and then bring on 4 or 5. We'll do the same thing at our state duck calling championship out here. We'll set up the machine
okay.
and bring guys on, and yeah, I think it'll be 2 years in April us doing this, and I think yeah, we're about ready to maybe step into the big boy Delta show, go out there, you know. So
Yeah, oh, I get it. I get it.
what time of year is it? When do you remember?
It's in July. It's the
July.
last weekend in July. So it's in a mix. So you have Squad Fest, and then you have, or actually it might be Delta, Ducks, Squad Fest, which is the dive bomb
Yeah.
one, and then Mississippi Extravaganzas around that time. There's like
Yeah.
4 or 5, like all right there together.
Yeah, I know the Ducks one's pretty big too. Don't they do that?
Well,
in
so
Texas?
the Dallas one, yeah, it was in Dallas. We went out, we were going to do it, but because we sell a food product, they wanted us to use the venue's POS system and all this other stuff. And it was like, hey, you're going to have to spend all this money on a booth, and then you're going to have to use their POS system and pay them 30% at the end of the show or something, and then not get paid for like 45 to 90 days. And I was like,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
we
doing
can't do
that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
But
anyway,
I definitely we are I mean we're a Northern California based deal, but it's always good getting out and meeting like-minded people too. So, and
oh yeah, for sure.
it always throws people for a loop. I have to show my driver's license. Nobody ever believes I'm from California when I get out of state. So it's kind of fun.
Well, it happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've told this story before when I was down at the Floribama, that bar right on the Florida Alabama line, and I'm in there hollering at this guy to play a Hank song and a George Jones, and he's like, "We're playing for the tourists, not you locals." I'm like, "Hey, asshole, I'm from freaking California. I am a tourist," and I had to show that dude my damn driver's license to prove. He thought I was some local hick, I guess. But pretty
That's funny. That's funny. Al. Man, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, and thank you for the salsa too, man. And we'll keep promoting your stuff all we can. And thanks a lot, Sean. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Just keep in touch. Just have something else. We'll do something else together.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, you have a good rainy rest of your day, and I'm going to get heading south. So,
all right, buddy. Well, safe travels and best of luck this evening. Hope the fundraiser goes well.
All right. Thank you. You have a good one. Bye.
You too, bud. Bye.
All right. That was Sean with Irish Salsa. Good dude. Solid. A little bit off topic. Normally, salsa and ducks. But hey, cool guy, cool story. I've kind of known about him for a few years. And I just like that good vibes, good people doing cool shit. So Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to head down south to Lincoln and get ready for our dinner. So do not forget to rate and review Spotify, iTunes, or wherever the hell else you listen to this. And I see nobody's gave us a review in quite some time. So get off your butt and get on your keyboard and say something nice about us. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.